Hi Redken team, my name is Victoria and I'm the master stylist here at the salon at Ulta Beauty in Tampa, Florida. Welcome to my audition video. In the 7 years of my career, I've attained dual licensing in barbering and a variety of certifications that has allowed me to create a more inclusive environment behind the chair, add to my revenue in service value, and equipped me to becoming the specialist in my area. Within my salon, I am known as the curly specialist. Oftentimes, I am sought out for cut, color, or even bridal creations on textured hair. Since the early days of beauty school, I realized that I was very receptive to the hows and whys behind the techniques of what we created. I was so motivated to learn more that upon graduating school, I knew that I was eager for more. I participated in an apprenticing program that put me in front of a variety of very talented artists. And looking back, I am very grateful as it became a strong foundation in my career. That aha moment where the light bulb goes off and suddenly everything makes sense is such an amazing feeling. It's almost magical because to me it represents opportunity, and that's what becoming a Redken artist would mean. The opportunity to grow in my craft and expand my creative portfolio, to get in front of and connect with artists that are eager to build confidence behind the chair and increase the inclusivity in their salon culture is a positive way that I feel I can contribute to our industry. And I want to be a part of a great team bigger than me. Being better than my best is my daily motto, and using Redken products in my career, along with applying the skill sets that I have acquired within my classes, has allowed me to elevate my quality and grow my business behind the chair. In today's video, I will be demonstrating a real-life salon scenario in which my guest has been toying with the idea of color, and she brought it up in today's haircutting service. After a consultation, I understood that she wants something soft and gradient from her natural base color, while keeping the health and definition of her curls in mind. I'm going to approach her canvas with a hybrid method of Pintura highlighting, which is a bespoke manner of painting color onto curly texture, and one of my favorite techniques that I picked up while at Blonde Authorities, which is the Fifth Avenue balayage. This technique is going to allow me to create maximum color dimension in her hair with minimal effort while working smarter, not harder, behind the chair. Now, before diving into her texture, I'm going to want to pre-stretch her curls. Because I gave her a haircut, I already had my hands in there and I was able to get a few knots out. But two other ways that you can get this done is by using a 4-hair bristle brush. This will ensure that we get some tangles out with minimal discomfort for the guest. Or the second way is going to be by using your comb attachment for your blow dryer. So with my technique today, which is a Pintura hybrid, I'm still going to go in with the foundations of the Fifth Avenue balayage. And so starting in the front, I'm just going to clean up her part. And with either a comb or a chopstick, you're going to balance where you see the curvature of the head slope into the forehead. Right at the secondary high point, I'll put my finger down. And then I'm going to draw the other side of my triangle using my part here and then the corner edge of her eyebrow into the temple. Find my finger, clean that up, look if we're looking good. Beautiful. So I'll roll, clip to keep my sections nice and neat. On the other side, I'll do the same thing. Using the high point eyebrow, I'll look at my section, see if I'm pretty even. Once I clip that away, I'm going to be using two different types of clips to showcase what my tier 1 is and my tier 2. We're only going to go as far as tier 2 in this hybrid method, simply because I just want to keep the lightness all along the parietal ridge area and leave some darkness and depth right through the bottom half of her hair. Here we have our first section of tier 1. Now we're going to navigate our way to the back. I'll have Naomi face me. And when I was in Blonde Authorities, Meg Getner taught us a really cool trick in order to find the corners of the head. So having her in this position, I'll go ahead and corner off the side of her head, and this is where I'm going to find now tier 2. So using the part line as the base of my triangle, I'll go in and again find my triangle. We're going to go based off of the parietal ridge to find our other line of the triangle. Right where the round of the head is, part that off. go along the parietal ridge. And then I'll cut back up to get my triangle. Awesome. So this will be our upside down triangle. Off of my part line, I'll twist it off and use a silver clip to outline my section. Now on this side, once again, I'll corner off and repeat what I did on this side. All right, there I have my tier 1. Now moving on to tier 2 are going to be found in the inside lining of what is my triangle, and now these will become my diamonds. So here in this section, we have her hairline. We'll go ahead and skim that out. Here I have the tip of that diamond, and I'm just going to keep it just lightly past the parietal ridge and then clean up my lines. So there I should have a nice, clean diamond. Tier 1, tier 2, tier 1. And repeat on the other side. Then I have a clean diamond. Once I complete our last one, which is found in the back, we have our 2 upside down triangles. I'll clip it out of the way for tension so that we can see the last part of tier 2. Now for this back area, you're gonna see the lines of my upside down triangles. It's gonna become the tip now of my diamond, and then I'm gonna go down and create that underneath as well, a little past her parietal ridge, more into the occipital area. And there I have my diamond. Now that I have this sectioned off, this is where I would find suddenly my tier 3s. I would find them in the lower half of the sections of my triangle. I would find tier 3 right through here. Again, right through here. And under here. But for the hybrid portion of this, we would just be using the foundation of the 5th Avenue balayage. The next steps in our service will include lightening her hair, and I have chosen Flash Lift with Bond Builder inside, preloaded with 30 volume. Mixed at a 1-to-1 ratio, this is going to be great for off the scalp and hand painting applications. Once that has been mixed, other items that I would choose to have on my cart are going to be 2 brushes. One is going to be for loading, another one is going to be for actual painting. My balayage board here, edging brush for detail, and cotton to keep our hair separated. Once those placements have been made of our upside down triangle and diamond pattern, this will allow me to move through her canvas seamlessly. With my preloaded brush, I'm going to start in the center. And keeping my angles about 45 degrees top. Now the key to maximum dimension is going to be a very saturated section for even lift. Now I use my balayage board, my loading brush, but I kept my clean brush, and I'm going to want to lay the hair right in the back. My balayage brush allows me to get full saturation in the back while controlling my section. I'll grab a piece of cotton and lay it down on my section. And I'll continue my way around, now going for the diamond that was under my section. I'm going to reload my balayage board and get ready for my next pattern. Since this goes at a diagonal back, I'm going to focus on this one reconnecting with a diagonal forward. Since the high point of this section sits much higher here, I'm going to want to come in at the high point of the edge, which is the low point of the diamond. And make sure I saturate the bottom lower half of zone 2 and top half of zone 3. And I'll continue my way all the way around, moving on to my next triangle. After letting my guest process at room temperature, timing can range from 35 minutes all the way up to 50 minutes. So I left her on for full timing, of course, because being a mannequin, she does not produce a lot of body heat. And of course, this was not insulated. It could stay on just a little bit longer to achieve the level of lightness needed to tone. Okay, so we've reached the point in our service where we're going to now tone her color. She is simply rinsed out, no shampoo, no conditioner. I don't want to raise the pH of her hair since she went through her chemical service. However, to help me manage her hair on this opposite side, I'm going to go for Redken's One United with 25 benefits. Its conditioning formulation is going to nourish her hair and allow for manageability while I work through it. And then it's also going to even out the porosity of the hair. Curly hair tends to absorb color and make it on a darker tone. So when we even out the porosity, we're going to get a true tonality for what we're aiming for. Now, Miss Naomi is a natural level 2, so that is going to have a blue and violet background. So with her now balayage or Pintura highlighting, we are going to gradiate within our tonality to look on the natural side anywhere between 2 and 4 shades. So she pulled very light for me, but she still sits about a level 6. So that's going to have the reds and the oranges there. So I'm going to use this to our advantage. And again, in our consultation, we discussed that we wanted to go for something that gradiates from her natural color, but the ultra cool beige, or also known as a bronze family, is very popular nowadays. So we want to have a controlled warmth with an edge of cool. Now I have created 2 formulas to help me color melt this in the areas of her dark hair where it needs into the lightness of it. There is some feathering effect, which is going to help, again, radiate that color, but I can further melt it, give the illusion of the melting, if I am able to use a form of like a drop roux, smudge roux, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. The formulation that I have come up with, since her natural is about a level 2, is actually going to be from the shades EQ Gloss, and it's going to be 3N Espresso. That's going to help give me some shine and conditioning right through her natural hair, and then it's going to gradiate with my technique into her lighter color. Alright, now that she's all brushed out and manageable, I'm going to go in right at her roots and tap it and stop right at the feather demarcation line of our Pintura highlighting. So because a lot of our highlighting is kept right here at the crown area, I'm going to give it all of my focus. I'm going to go in real quickly and smudge the sides. Root tap right at zone 1. I'm getting higher and I can see my highlights. Right at zone 1, right before the feathering. Now because I've gone through and done this section, I love to use a brush and brush it many times so that I feel like the line is very diffused into where it's melting from, into what it's melting into. Now it is with our lighter bronze formulation that we're gonna have a ton of fun. So the formula I have chosen to use is going to be 6NB, which is gonna have a brown to tan background, and then it also has a red to violet coloring in its background. Now the color I've accompanied that with is going to be 9M. The M is also a brown to tan background family, but it does have blues and greens. Now because her natural base is a level 2, those cool tones, and we've lifted her to now a red tonality, I do want to keep a controlled warmth. So that's why I went with the 6NB, but it's that M that's going to give me the ultra control in our tonality. In Blonde Authorities, we played a really fun game that made me think outside the box, and it was called, I believe, What's in the Bowl? And it was just breaking down the formulations of what we were using and why. So I went with a 6NB and a 9M. The 9M, I learned that unlike clear, it will not just dilute the color, it would actually move it up a level. So when curly hairs absorb so much color, I prepared my canvas by evening out the porosity with the One United, but then I also prepared myself in our formulation and how I was going to go in and attack that at the source. So if I have warmth, I want warmth. I want it to be, however, controlled. And so when looking at the color wheel, green is going to neutralize red, and she lives out of red by being at a level 6. But it's the blue that gives it the ultra cool feeling, and neutralizing the oranges that we also have at a level 6. Now, it also is known as matte, and so that's going to give it a good opaque, controllable warmth. I feel like that's the word of the day for what the color it is that we're intending to go for. Now the two formulas do not touch. I'm very careful when applying the root smudge to keep it right before the feathering of my lines. And same goes for when applying the lighter tonality. I'm not touching where that color is coming from. There's almost a bit of feathering in between, like fingers trying to touch, just like that between the color. And then it's with the overbrushing that I'm able to blend my Zone 1 formulation into my Zone 2 formulation. So here there's no lightness, so I'll just go in and tap that. Every so many sections I'm going to want to brush that in, again giving the hair some shine. Right here, blending from Zone 1. And then, if it can be seen on camera, the lightness starts down here. So that is what's going to get toned. And here it stops, here it starts. Feather, feather down, feather down. I'm using a different part of the brush now to feather this part. Good. And circling back to the formulation, with that NV, it having the red violet. And if I were to break that down, I do have one part red, which is a primary. It's going to exude warmth. But then I also have within my violet one part red, one part blue. And violet can sit neutrally, be a cool, be a warm, depending on how much more of the blue versus the red is found in it. So we do have 2 parts red, 1 part cool. And then again, it's in the M where I revisit the blues and the greens being capable of controlling the warmth, not only on the canvas that it sits on, but in the formulation and how it was intended. Not that she processed for her 20 minutes, you may have noticed that I approached her hair a little bit differently than how I was taught at Blonde Authorities. So Shades EQ can go on completely dry hair, or it can go on towel dried hair. The preference is going to be at the discretion of the artist for the canvas in which it's going to be applied on. So I took into account a few things about my guest Naomi today. One being her porosity level. Although I did equip myself within our formulation and within preparation, I still have to take into account her canvas. So when I speak with a guest that's interested in color, I do give them a projection of what life may look like now that they have the color service. While she's processing for her time, I'm going to circle back and bring up that conversation again, lining her up for success of what it's going to look like and our relationship is going to look like moving forward. So a simple haircut can sit anywhere between 6 to 12 weeks if it's short like mine, or if it's on the longer side. Once I see them second to third time around, I'm going to understand better where that time gauge sits. So if we love highlights in her hair moving forward, I may set her up for 2 rounds of 8-week appointments for her gloss, and on her third appointment, we will bring back up those highlights. Setting up a plan like this is really going to set me up for success and my guests. I'm able to project what a guest like her will bring in revenue, and how many guests like her I'm going to need to add into my clientele to have a sustainable business. The other part of it being a benefit to her, within my company, we call it setting up a beauty plan. She's able to project that her first initial appointment is going to be an investment, and then the second, third appointments can be a fraction of the cost because now we are simply maintaining the service. All right, now that our 20 minutes have passed in her processing time, we are going to rinse her out, but before we send her home, post-care is going to begin right here in the bowl. I'm going to be using the acidic bonding series. Now the acidic bonding treatment is going to reinforce any weakened bond. It's also going to make her hair look 11 times smoother if I use the product in its entirety in today's service. With benefits like ultimate repair, intense conditioning, and color fade protection, my guest is going to be able to feel protected from start to finish. Now that she's all rinsed out and void of all product, I'm going to go right into our treatment. Now what's so innovative about the acidic bonding family is that it has 2 components that are always being sought out in a healthy routine, and then that's going to be the balance of protein and moisture. So right here I have my acidic moisture concentrate, and then here I have the acidic protein amino concentrate. Now when I refer to my treatment guide, my guest fits along the lines of excessive frizz, unmanageable hair, and lacking in smoothness. Causes of this are going to be common threats of the curly girl, especially if she diffuses. She is exposed to heat, and then Naomi and I happen to live here in Florida, so we are constantly exposed to humidity. Now how I'm going to cocktail her treatment is going to be, here's what 1 pump can give me, which is about a 2.5, as 2 pumps will give me 5 ml. Now with 4 pumps total, I have 10 ml. Grabbing her hair, I paint it on to the areas of lightness. Her whole hair can benefit of this, but that will be my areas of focus at the moment. I'll take now my syringe. There are numbers on here, so I'm gonna rotate that until 10 ml. And then I use anything around me to help pump that into my hand. Now that her acidic bonding treatment has been applied, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that it's evenly saturated through the hair so we can get that benefit all over. I'm gonna let her process anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. Alright, now that the product has been in her hair, I'm going to go in with our last one, which is going to be the acidic pH sealer. This is going to be crucial in closing down her cuticle, evening out her porosity, and color retention. Alright, now depending where I am in my salon schedule, I may choose to style my girl at the station or here at the bowl. The reason why I would want to do it here at the bowl is because when styling a curly texture, you definitely want to keep as much moisture as possible to really help those products glide into the hair. I went ahead and used my One United again. I'm going to go ahead and brush out her hair. And then move into sectioning off her curls. Now curls are 3-dimensional, so if we go in and we just applied all products, it's really not going to get evenly saturated and perform in every nook and cranny of her curls. So because we want longevity out of this style, if we style it to the best of our abilities in the very beginning, we are going to get longer wear and prettier results.
Another benefit of doing it right here at the bowl, if at any point I am no longer saturated, I can just use some water. So although One United got us prepped, the two products of choice that I'm gonna roll into is going to be Full Frame 07, and this is going to be for an all-over volumizing mousse. This is going to help retain the body that her curls can give, but in a controlled fashion while controlling the humidity of how much her curls can expand. So I'm gonna apply that. I have a horizontal and vertical application, putting my fingers in between the hair like so that I can get an even application. Some may choose to use a brush. Some may choose to use the variation of the lines that their fingers can provide when combing through and shaking it out as such. That's going to be a shingling method. Second product of choice is going to be from our Frizz Dismiss series, and it's going to be the Rebel Tame Cream. This helps to smooth down the cuticle and provide some control, again, for the humidity that we combat here in Florida, but then as her nature being a curly girl. Now moving up these sections, I'll bring that down. Again, if I need a little bit of water, I'll just rinse through, being very careful not to rinse out the product, just further saturate the section. Okay, that's about a ping pong size for the next section. I'll start in the ends and work my way up to the crown. That way we don't make the crown too heavy in the days to come. Now, choosing to do her product application in the bowl is going to serve so many benefits. One of the other benefits is going to be her complete relaxation. She does not need to sit up, feel the saturation of all the products just drip down her neck, her shoulders, and then of course we use gravity to our advantage by allowing it to fall off of the scalp and create some body and lift. All right, about every so many sections you want to go in and squeeze out the excess of product and water and scrunch in the curl formation. Hair holds memory, so when we curl train it to either be scrunched or otherwise twisted, braided, manipulated in such a way that it encourages the curl, we're going to get tailored results. Now, partnering these two products together is really going to give me a soft definition in her curls to really make her color placement pop. All right, now that she is all saturated, has all the products applied, there are going to be a few tricks that I can add to stylize her hair. One of them being finger coiling. So I'm going to grab a section of hair in which could use a little bit more help within the definition, and I'm going to hook my finger in between and twirl and twirl and twirl and twirl, and then I get some nice definition. Now I can choose to make them chunky or I can do them small. I like to mimic what the hair is offering to me, since curls tend to clump in families. Those families can be big, those families can be small. Now, true to salon service, I could choose to diffuse her one of two ways. I tend to do both. So with this hooded dryer, it's going to take care of all of the moisture here at the top, which is what we usually neglect when we're wanting to seek volume. Oftentimes, curl friends will turn over and only give the attention to their ends. By the time that they lift up, their roots are still pretty damp. So by going in with this hooded dryer approach, or even with a diffuser and satelliting, I can get a lot of the moisture from the root, from zone 1 into zone 2, and then once we create a shell, or in this case, dry halfway through, I will then have her turn over and we will diffuse as such. Okay, so to finish the diffusing, what we're gonna do is have your guest either lean backwards or forward. I'll have her lean forward in this case. And that's gonna cause all of the hair to come forward, this to come forward. This is usually the secret spot in which it has most of the moisture, so you definitely wanna make sure you tackle that area as well. So I'll grab my diffuser. It's going to be on medium heat, medium speed. I'm still gonna satellite, but in areas in which I'm gonna go to diffuse, instead of going like this and making the hair fly in the opposite direction and create frizz, I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly scoop it and wait, and wait, and wait. Scoop again, and wait, and wait, and wait. And that'll be the routine that I'll follow all the way around the head. And I'll even at certain points have her turn her head completely so that it's hanging off of her head like this.